Hey y'all, welcome back to Twin Oaks Family Farm in rural southeast Ohio, USA. Thanks for joining me on our YouTube channel, Twin Oaks Farm Poultry. I'm Melissa. Here at our happy little home place, we have a small poultry operation. We raise meat chickens for producing homegrown poultry that we direct market in our part of the United States of America. We're in southeast Ohio. And we also have egg production chickens. So we have them for marketing egg sales by the dozen on egg subscriptions or sales on demand. But this video is part of our countdown to the 4th of July. It's July 2nd, 2024, and it is almost Independence Day, and that is my favorite holiday, a lot of Americans' favorite holiday. If you're American at heart, wherever you are in the world, wishing you a safe and happy 4th of July. It'll be here in just a few days, and in this video just going to talk a little bit of American history that I find interesting, show you a book that I'm going to be reading next and it's related to American history, and just continue our countdown to the 4th. So quick video here, and we'll put a link to a music video that's patriotic theme that is just a song that I like. So getting started, want to show you first of all the book that I'm reading, and we'll tie that into a little bit about American history. So as we're doing that, we're continuing to put some of our patriotic decor out. I love this wreath. That silhouette in the center of it is actually a pickup truck from the back with a flag in it and God Bless America on it. But a friend of ours, Darla W., actually just a mile out the road from my house, she makes wreaths, and she actually goes to Backwoods Fest. And if you're from Ohio or West Virginia, you've probably heard of Backwoods Fest. It's a huge handcrafted market. So I believe it's in September, but you could look it up online. If you love markets where all the wares and goods are handcrafted, you might love Backwoods Fest. I'm drawing a blank on when it is, but I think it's every year in September. But Darla makes wreaths like this, makes porch signs, and she will be going to Backwoods Fest again this year. I think it may be the last year she's doing it, but I got this wreath from her a couple years ago, I think, and I just love having it up over the summer. So I'm going to show you this book. Check out the mug or the cup there. Y'all know our little dog Tanner? Well, that's why I have that little mug, because he's a little Dutchman that looks just like that. But here's this book, The Cotillion Brigade. I just went to the library today to pick this book up. I've had it on order, and they got it in at our local library for me. But let me show you something in the back of it. Look here. Made in United States, North Haven, Connecticut, the 6th of October, 2023. How about that? But made in the United States. Did y'all know that July 2nd is Made in USA Day? So how about that? I thought that was pretty cool and a neat, just a neat instance of things lining up. The book that I had on request is a Made in the USA book, but it's called The Cotillion Brigade, a novel of the Civil War and the most famous female militia in American history. So I'm excited to read that because I really enjoy learning about Civil War history. And on that note, let's think about, for a few moments, July 4th, 1863. The United States of America is still embroiled in the Civil War, that late unpleasantness between the states. So July 4th, 1863 is about midpoint of the Civil War. It had started 1861, would continue until 1865, but July 4th, 1863 is considered the turning point of the American Civil War. What was happening in the North and what was happening in the South on that date? Well, July 4th, we've seen the conclusion of the Battle of Gettysburg in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and the high water mark of the Confederacy is actually there. You can go to the battlefield and actually see a site that has been preserved and has a plaque up marking that, the high water mark of the Confederacy, at a little copse of trees on the last battlefield of Gettysburg battlefield site. So the Southern forces were under General Robert E. Lee, and he was an accomplished general. He had actually been a colonel for the United States prior to the Civil War. In fact, Robert E. Lee, as a colonel, for the United States of America back, I think about 1859, had led Marines in putting down the uprising at Harper's Ferry. So you can even go back a little bit before the Civil War to check on that history. But at any rate, so Robert E. Lee, General of the Southern Troops, Confederate States of America, had led them to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and they had lost that battle. That battle was concluded, and on July 4th, 1863, the Confederate States troops start their retreat back south. Now, so that's what's going on in the north. What's going on in the south? The Confederate troops at Vicksburg, Mississippi, surrender to General Ulysses S. Grant. So, two big victorious events for the Union, for the United States of America on July 4th, 1863. So truly a turning point of the American Civil War. And then, of course, it would end up concluding in 1865. That in itself is some really interesting history. Some of the first engagement had been Manassas, Virginia, on property owned by Wilmer McLean. And then fast forward to 1865, end of the Civil War, we again meet up with General Robert E. Lee, General Ulysses S. Grant. General Lee surrenders his forces to General Grant at Appomattox Courthouse on property owned by Wilmer McLean. So Wilmer McLean had taken his family from Manassas, Virginia, when they were involved in having property that saw fighting at First Bull Run, First Manassas, and said never wanted anything to do with that again, and ended up, the surrender took place in their parlor of Wilmer McLean's home. So really interesting history, but tying it into July 4th. July 4th, 1863, even though the Civil War here in the United States of America would go on for about another 2 years, July 4th, 1863 was the turning point of the war that really set things in motion for the Union to remain intact and for Reconstruction after the Civil War ended. So we are the United States of America and not just a bunch of separate states. And it's really just an interesting part of American history, and it should be learned. It should not be ignored. It should not be changed, and we should learn from it. So anyway, that is an interesting part of Independence Day history, and going to read about the Cotillion Brigade. I think it was the Nancy Hart Rifles, maybe is the true factual story that this is based on, but a novel of the Civil War and the most famous female militia in American history. So if you want to check that out, the Cotillion Brigade. I think I've been waiting almost 3 months, 2 or 3 months for this book. I had requested it at our public library. So anyway, that ties into a patriotic song that I want to recommend to y'all, and I'll try to find a link for it, put it in the description and comments. It's the Buddy Brown song, Stop When You See a Uniform, and we are going to sign off for today in our countdown to Independence Day, countdown to the 4th of July. And so in the comments, tell us what are some of your favorite things to do on 4th of July, and what are some of your favorite 4th of July foods? Tomorrow we'll talk about some favorite 4th of July foods of ours, and just do another countdown and be wishing y'all a happy 4th of July.